Welcome back everyone, Oz here. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
Ask Reddit. What's the most "are you really that stupid" thing you've ever heard? I'm late, but my mother once said years ago, cats are cold-blooded because they like to lay in the sun. We immediately said, what? No. Did you go to school? 4 or 5 months ago, she doubled down on this, stating the exact thing for the exact reason. I told her, are you cold-blooded because you like to sunbathe? She still thinks cats are cold-blooded. Someone in my freshman year college class, Professor, do you think dinosaurs existed? Professor, there seems to be a lot of evidence in favor of that conclusion. What do you think? Someone, I don't think they did. I mean, how do we know they were called dinosaurs? They could have been called anything. In high school, when this girl found out prisoners used to be sent to Australia, she said, that's stupid, they could just swim back to Europe. To be fair, anyone who actually manages to swim from Australia to Europe deserves to live. In high school, during global studies, we were talking about South America, and this chick asked which country was Africa. Even being told it's a separate continent and shown on a map, she continued to argue for 20 minutes, saying it was a small country in South America. You're thinking of Argentina. When I worked at a call center, someone said, Q, for cucumber, to me. Cucumber. Ever hear of those free online IQ tests? My friend took one of these, but the one she took was even worse than the regular ones. It was obviously not a valid IQ test and probably made by either a 12-year-old, a drunk person, or a drunk 12-year-old. Anyways, one question was, which is your favorite food out of these 4? Which was already a really bad question. I didn't think it would get worse until I saw, what do you think of the iPhone? I don't remember the 4th option, but out of I love iPhone, it's good technology, and what's an iPhone? The smartest choice was, what's an iPhone? Ridiculous. Your IQ is higher by being ignorant of the world around you. Anyways, to the main point, she got a high score and put it on her resume. I unfortunately can't find the IQ test. Pretty sure I'd immediately reject anyone who put their IQ on a resume, real score or not. They're either idiots and trying to compensate or hide it, or they're really proud of that score and you probably won't hear the end of it. From a customer, how do you type a capital 4? Alt F4. Girl I used to date was convinced that used cars came with insurance. We went out to look at cars for her one weekend, and on the way to the first lot, it came up in conversation. She absolutely did not believe me to the point that it was almost an argument. Salesman told her the same thing, so she demanded we go to another dealership. We visited 4 dealerships that day, and all of them told her the same thing. Relationship didn't last much longer, but earlier this year she was pulled over and arrested for a litany of offenses, including a DUI, but surprise, she had no auto insurance. I was driving with my mother on a pitch black night. My mother said the stars weren't out because there was no moon for them to reflect off of. Love you, Mom. The idea that the moon is a gigantic disco ball for stars seems pretty fun. I work at an animal shelter and a woman asked me if we had any dogs that didn't poop. I told her no, all dogs poop. So she asked about cats. Yes, but we can only match them with the humans that don't poop either. Is this something you're in a habit of doing? My sister's friend, who is 22, believes that when you fly in an airplane, once you are in the air, you just levitate there, and the earth rotates underneath you. When the plane is over the destination, the plane lowers again, and that's what happens. She wants to be a teacher. My friend thought due to time zone differences between the US and UK, you could place a bet in the UK on an NFL game that hadn't happened in the US and cheat the system because it hadn't happened yet in the UK. A previous coworker of mine thought that when looking at images of hurricanes, what she was seeing was the ocean swirling and not the clouds. She has a bachelor's degree. Can you imagine how fucked we would be if she was right? I once heard a girl say that she doesn't believe in miscarriages. Another good one is that if she asks if something's gluten-free, she asks, "Is that gluten?" Meaning the exact opposite. She also said she's going to become a Navy SEAL. She is not in the Navy. We were out of state and she said, "Oh, wow, wild cows." They were not wild cows. Does she think a miscarriage is just the same thing as an abortion? Like, it's done on purpose? Or just that they don't actually happen, they're a myth? While in a really long car trip with my parents, we were discussing countries we'd like to visit. My mother said she'd like to visit Japan to see the Great Wall of China. My dad and I don't let her forget. There's always a 50% chance of rain. Think about it. It will either rain or it won't, so that's gotta always be 50%. This is why I always play the lottery. Either I win or I don't. That's 50%. I haven't won yet, which is somehow surprising, given the odds. You're unlucky. Buy 2 tickets. 50% plus 50% is a 100% chance of winning. Duh. Someone once asked me and my twin sister if we don't mistake ourselves for the other one. I like to think she was joking, but I don't think she was. During a Color War trivia game at summer camp, we were asked to name places the Olympics had been held. Someone mentioned Athens, and the girl next to me started to lose her mind laughing. I asked her why, and she responded, "Isn't Athens that place from Harry Potter?" 10 out of 10. I had a customer yell at me their donuts were supposed to be buy one get one free instead of half price. I had to explain how 1/2 plus 1/2 was 1. Never understood it and just sneered, "Whatever," at me and had me cancel their order. "Sure, my mistake. I can refund you the $3.99 and ring you up with the correct discount." "Okay, with the discount, your new total is $3.99. When I worked in fast food, I had a couple that wanted me to apply 2 senior discounts to their meals because there were 2 of them. Could not get them to understand that the discount applies itself to the total order. So, they very cleverly decided every time they came in, they would order and pay separately. They shall have their 2 discounts and no one could stop them. Funny thing was, ordering that way made their total come out a couple cents more expensive than if they had just ordered the 2 meals on 1 ticket, so I got my cheap satisfaction. My friend wrote on the title page of his high school essay, S.A. Yeah, sound it out. Edit. Some background, it was in the hallway before class started that I noticed it in his hand, probably stared for a good 10 seconds trying to figure out what it meant, then it hit me. Like a good friend, I stayed silent and let him hand it in. Okay, so there was this mother that I once met. I'll call her Karen. Sorry to everyone who's named Karen. So Karen is your typical MLM mom. She's in like 3 of them, including an essential oil one. One day, her son gets sick. Instead of getting cold medicine or whatever, she feeds him essential oils. Of course, he gets sicker, so the school he goes to treats him right. After hearing about this, his mom said, and I quote, "Don't give him that. The big pharma chemicals will make him immune to the essential oils." And they never think of the big essential oils company. One of the people high up in one of these companies nearly killed his son with them. The kid got burned badly. His skin came off in sheets. So they stuck him in a tub, but figured since he wasn't in a whole lot of pain, he'd be fine. Then they pulled him out, coated his burns in lavender oil, and prayed over him. They posted this live on Facebook and people were saying you have to take him to the ER. The kid ended up in shock. That's when they finally put him in the car. Some people turned CPS on them. Thank goodness, because that was really fucked up. My wife was telling her sorority sisters about how she was allergic to wheat. One of the girls responded with, "Why don't you just eat white bread then?" What do you think it's made of? White? When I was in high school history class, this dumb as a brick girl asked our teacher, who was from the South but we weren't even remotely close to the South, still no excuse, if she'd ever owned a slave. Related, in my high school history class, this dumb as a brick girl told our black teacher that if I had a slave, I wouldn't want him to be black because I wouldn't want people to think I was racist. That's like 11D chess thinking there. Too bad she's actually playing backgammon. But she's playing with both colors because she wouldn't want anyone to think she was racist. This middle-aged woman I work with at a fast food place was drinking a glass of super sweet tea when these words came out of her mouth. My doctor said that I may have diabetes. I don't understand how. I never eat sugar. Me, while watching a semi-friend do 10 separate ATM transactions, why are you taking out $200 from the ATM in $20 increments? You're just adding up the $2.50 fee. It adds up in the long run. No shit, it adds up to you wasting money. No, trust me, it adds up. Maybe they thought they were getting $2.50 instead of paying it. It was explained to him over and over for months. He still just argues that the money adds up in the end. Well, he is technically right, those fees really do add up. Phone customer, can I pay with cash over the phone? Me. While discussing taking a girls trip and going on a cruise, my friend once said, I think it would be pretty easy. We could just get a cruise out of Dallas. Everyone paused. Her husband then broke the silence with, that is our marriage summed up in one sentence. Worked with someone who would say, it's Friday somewhere, unironically on Tuesdays. Edit, since this is being brought up, we had Monday through Friday shifts only at the time, which the coworker was working, so this wasn't a situation where they were talking about a short-ended week or having Tuesday as their own personal Friday. I think I found my new catchphrase. World history class in high school. This girl really asked how we won the American Revolution when the Germans had airplanes. I had to remember how to breathe. I think she is the one who has to breathe voluntarily. Teacher in middle school was playing a cassette tape for the class that was a bit distorted, so she attempted to prove the audio by adjusting the antenna. Former coworker of mine and I were walking through a department store during the holidays. There's an area dedicated to ugly sweaters, and one had the Star of David all over it. My coworker points to it and says, "Oh, isn't that sweater for that Jewish holiday? What's it called? Holocaust?" I wish her the best. I had a class in college focused on corporate social responsibility, where we regularly discussed whether different companies met the appropriate standards. A girl proudly announced that she loved Pepsi and that they could commit genocide and she would still love them. We awkwardly moved past her statement, but the next class she came in and profusely apologized to everyone because she didn't know what genocide was, and she said that. Okay, I'm gonna have to end it there. That's just too much. Well, thank you for making it this far. If you want to see more of my AskReddit content, then click on the playlist up here in the end screen. And if you want to see more of my stuff, then click on the recommended video above. And, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all later.